Okay, moving on to exercise 5, editing, what students usually call the hardest exercise of the chapter. It says, read these online comments about a book called Failure and Success. There are 12 mistakes in the use of present perfect and simple past. The first mistake is already corrected. Find and correct 11 more. Alright, it says, comments from readers, November 4th. I've just finished reading Failure and Success by Neela Sereta. Actually, I've read several of her books this year. The book is great. It's no surprise that it has sold so many copies. Marta Lopez. So these are the answers that you have to fix. I have to use present perfect here because she's saying this year. And as we can see, the year is not over yet. It's November 4th. So maybe she might read another of her books. This has to be in present perfect. It has sold so many copies. The book is not done selling, right? They're still selling the book, so we have to use present perfect. It started in the past, it continues until now. I have been a big fan of this author for many years. So that's our key word, for. When we have for and an amount of years or amount of time, we have to use present perfect. I was very happy to find her latest book. I downloaded it last week. Whenever we have a specific time without since or without for, we have to use past simple, right? This started and ended in the past. I downloaded it last week and I finished it in 2 days. It's a great book, but perhaps the best book I have read so far this year. I highly recommend it. So whenever we have this year, right? Remember that was a key word. The year is not over yet, so I have to use present perfect. Have these other people read the same book as me? I didn't like it at all. So she read it in the past, right? So we have to use past simple. I thought it was boring. I finished it last night. So last night, remember when we have a specific time in the past, we should use past simple. I finished it last night, but I'm sorry I bought it. Save your money. Felipe Casa. For the last few months, I have tried suggestions from Failure and Success. Whenever I have for and an amount of time, I should use present perfect. I have tried suggestions. The book has changed my attitude about failure. Everyone has failed at some time, but the author has not failed in communicating her message. Failure can be a great teacher. I have only read 2 chapters so far. So whenever we have that phrase so far, that lets me know that I have to use the present perfect because the action is not finished yet. But I think it's a very interesting and helpful book. I've already learned a lot from it. I especially like all the examples about famous people, like Edison, who failed at first before they became successful. Remember, we have to use past simple with Edison because he's dead. If he were alive, then yes, we would use have failed. But because he's dead, he can't fail again, right? He can't come back from the dead. So make sure you use past simple here. And the last section, it says, my husband and I are both college professors. Before we finally found teaching jobs at the same school, we had to live in different cities. This happened in the past, right? So make sure you use past simple. It was a very difficult time for us. A friend recommended one of Sereta's earlier books and it really helped. We're both authors, but we haven't found a publisher yet. Yet is a key word for present perfect. So make sure you change this to present perfect. Thanks to Sereta's advice, we won't give up. And braid.